Hey everyone, I'm back after hopefully not too long of a wait. I said I wanted to be more present on here, so this is me making good on that. Um, but yeah, I've had a lot on my mind lately, so think of this as a real life Red Room, getting out of the cartoon phase. At least for now, at least for this video. I've been seeing so much commentary across all platforms of just people in this timeline of waking up, of revelations, of things being revealed. And as a collective, I know that's across the board. And I don't know, it's leading me to question a lot of things about like what I want and what kind of world I want to live in, and the kind of person I want to be in that world. And I know a lot of us are thinking about that and questioning the things that we were fed from when we were little. They overtook our thoughts with these manufactured desires and these artificial wants that I don't believe ever really were ours. I think now, in such a precarious time that we all live in, economically, just internationally, regarding relations between countries and the growing knowledge of a system that has been designed and has existed for perhaps eons, that has snaked its tendrils into every aspect of the little guy's life. I don't know, it's really just putting a magnifying glass to a lot of things, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. Especially people my age, like we are so aware of everything that doesn't need to be in this world, of everything that is unnecessary but has been accepted for so long. So that we're kind of trudging along in this period of watching it all fall apart, because it never was built to last. It was never going to sustain itself indefinitely, because it truly just never had everyone in mind. It never had the majority in mind. It only had the minority in mind. And I think that's why at this point, it's very important to question everything that we read, see, think, feel, believe, because a lot of it isn't ours. Triggers that have been so curated for the human mind and human psyche that it becomes seemingly impossible to disentangle yourself. It's not impossible, as has been demonstrated by a select few, I should say, gurus throughout history, but now it's our turn to step up to the plate and demonstrate the same, because the discontent is growing. As you can see across all platforms, people are talking about it, talking about, just how hard it is to live, and, how unnecessarily expensive life has become. And it really lends to this notion of like, hey, whoa, like, who is this really for? Like, who is this built for? What is our purpose in this whole mechanism, this whole scheme? And people my age, especially, and slightly older, like Gen Zs and millennials, like, we are waking up to it, as are the older generations, like Gen X, of course. Boomers, a little bit slow on the uptake, but that's only because they reaped the greatest benefits of the system, and we're kind of getting drip fed. Not even barely drip fed, but that's beside the point. But besides the economics, like, just the grander system of everything, like, more to the point, and just how intricately interwoven these values are into society, that truly doesn't benefit the human spirit, truly doesn't benefit the planet as a whole, truly doesn't encourage the nurturing of one another, of the planet, the environment, of unity and harmony with the world. And I know we've been brought up to believe that that was like hippy dippy, like woo woo, you know, and it's naive and oh, you got to take those rose colored glasses off. But tell me who suggested that was even like wide eyed, you know, to even conceptualize a world, you know, that was good for everyone and not just a minor few. And they truly are a minor few, and they're growing more minor, more irrelevant by the day because people are waking up. They are hip to the rituals, to the, I mean, I don't want to say the big C word, but it truly, by its very definition, it's a conspiracy. Conspiring to control, conspiring to suppress, conspiring to digress and detract and distract from the things that really matter in the world, getting different groups to infight rather than seeing the commonality between each other. And people aren't so asleep anymore. And people are starting to question. People are not putting up with it anymore. I mean, how much pressure can you put on folks? How much can you squeeze them before they, you know, before they pop, before the pressure is just too much and the blowback, you know, it blows back in your face. And we're kind of coming to that point. I feel like the pendulum has been swinging, you know, really far in this direction. And now, okay, now it's coming in this direction. And as crazy and chaotic as the world seems right now, as we are all unfortunately aware, because we're inundated with this narrative, this pessimistic narrative, which I really feel should be seen or considered in a different light. Because what does not work, it must be destroyed. It must dissolve. And that is not going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a rough ride. It is a rough ride. It's been a rough ride. I am not saying that it hasn't been. We're all in this together, and the goal is to make us forget that. The goal is to make us so isolated, so depressed, so anxious, so stressed, so focused on our own little bubbles, our own little worlds, where we can't see the grander picture, where we can't recognize, okay, maybe this is supposed to happen, and maybe it's not going to be pretty, because, I mean, giving birth, I mean, it is beautiful, but it is also very painful, extremely messy, extremely precarious. There are a lot of factors that go into it. It's a very delicate process that takes time. We don't just shoot out our babies in 2 seconds. And this new world is not going to be like, a better world, I should say, is not going to be born overnight. And I know we all wish it would, but that's just, you know, not really the way things work right now. But I truly have been questioning the things that I want, or the things I thought I wanted out of life. The person I thought I was, the person I want to be, the person I don't want to be, who I want to be in this world, what kind of world I want to live in. And these are questions that kind of get lost in translation when we're so stuck in the survival of it all. We've been in survival mode for so long that it's almost become the default. I know I have. I'm slowly, steadily getting out of it. But now I realize, oh man, I've got to rediscover myself, like truly myself, and not this identity that I've taken on. But this thing that was made for me, this thing that was suggested to me through my eyes and ears ever since I was little, and ever since you were little. This is how, you know, things have been upheld for as long as they have. More to the point, I feel like a lot of us are tired, burnt out. And I mean, of course we are. We're not machines, but we've been worked like machines. And it's been so normalized in this culture, you know, all over the world, really. Like, you just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep shifting the goalposts, keep shifting the goalposts. Work a little harder, hustle a little harder for the same or even less, you know, payoff. And that's just not going to cut it anymore. People really are, they're wanting a moment to figure themselves out, wanting a moment to figure out what they love to do, like what excites them, and not just these little bugs in our head that, suggest us to consume, buy this, watch this, eat this, listen to this person, attack this group, all of that. Like, we're over it, or at least we're getting over it. So many of us are, because it all just leads to a dead end. And we really have to keep questioning it until it doesn't cause any more duress, until we get to the root of it, until we get to the root of us, not just individually, but as a whole. Who are we without these systems in place? What can the world be without these systems in place? Without these so-called elites in place? And yeah, maybe without them, things might be a little chaotic for a while. But I'd very much rather that than being stuck in limbo. And, just knowing all of the things that go on behind closed doors to keep the machine running. It's just not good enough to placate myself or to just numb myself, And before, I would do that. But now, even when I try, like, there's always something in the back of my mind that's like, no, you want more than this. No, there's more than this. You're bigger than this. You're better than this. Go deeper. Dive a little deeper. And that's what I've been trying to do, especially these last few months, because there are so many questions that are not being answered. There are questions that we didn't ask that are being answered all the time, but we have to ask our own questions, because they're going to keep telling you what you need to ask. Feed you the narrative that they want you to be fed. And we kind of have to develop our own minds about these things, process our emotions, process our nervous systems, really get in touch with our bodies, emotions, minds, and sense of identity, because truly that is where that's where peace is. Having full autonomy and control, knowing yourself inside and out. And so few of us do. And that's why we're at the point of questioning, which is excellent, which is awesome. And sometimes it's not awesome. Sometimes you'll be running around in circles in your head, like I still do sometimes. Like I kind of was today. I kind of was all week. And I mean, I think that's part of the process. Like, there's a mourning period, because there's who you thought you were, and there's who you're learning you are. And that's always a process. That's another birthing process that's not necessarily pretty or pain-free all of the time, because, we've all been built up on this pretense, and we've all been built up on this dream, this dream life about what success means, what it means to be truly rich. And, that we should all pursue it. We should all hunt it. We should all seek it out through external validation, through, achieving these external goals. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with achieving your goals. Of course not. Nothing wrong with having aspirations. But the reason you have to seek out, the reason why you want these things, and if it's you who wants it in the first place, question everything. At least for a time. Like, you don't want to drive yourself crazy. Like, there's nothing wrong with relaxing, nothing wrong with like resting and not like spinning your wheels day in and day out, because that's not good either, as I've found, because that just leads you into a rut. Sometimes you have to step back. Sometimes you have to smell the roses. Sometimes you have to just take a walk and really look around and see what matters. Like, sometimes it's as simple as just feeling the breeze on your skin, feeling the warmth of the sun kiss your skin, smelling the fresh breeze, the rain in the air, walking in the rain. Little things like that really make you present, really pull you out of this so very So very chaotic. And I don't even, I was almost going to say human, but I don't even believe it's truly in human nature. It's so against human nature that that's why so many people are suffering from, psychological or mental illnesses and ailments and stuff. It's so against our very nature, so unnatural to us. And we wonder why, we suffer from these things. It's because it's not true to us. I mean, we've built something, we've been tricked into building something that benefits only a few, while the rest of us really are left to pick up the pieces, and maybe not even that. Maybe there's no time to pick up the pieces because you're just focused on survival, and that is the design. And people are waking up to that, especially those of us who are no longer in young adulthood and now are kind of moving into, okay, legitimate adult, like, oh, the milestones that came for people who were, facing approaching 30. Oh, get married, buy a house, start a family, etc., etc. Those things are not so easily attainable anymore. See, I'm going to be 29 in a couple of months, really, very short time. And yeah, those milestones are not even a blip on my radar. Not even a blip on so many of our radars, because that's just the circumstances that we're coming up in now. The boomers, I feel, and this is not to finger wag, oh, boomers, but I mean, the truth of the matter is they've benefited the most from the system, and the benefits have slowly trickled out, fizzled out, as we all can see, as we're all living day to day. And yeah, not to be so sober, so serious, because, there's still beautiful things going on outside of this. Like, you have to find that beauty, that peace, that stillness within nature, within, among friends, among family, among your pets, however you can find that peace. It is there. It still exists there. I mean, the news would have you believe otherwise. Social media would have you believe, oh, the world is just on fire right now. And it certainly feels that way. Sometimes, like, that's why I have to unplug. I cannot, my mind, I don't know about anybody else, but my mind is not built to take in that much information, that much bad news every single day, and that's another way that people are programmed into this nihilistic, pessimistic worldview, where it's just like alarms blaring all the time, and it's just panic mode, and you're suspicious of each other, and you don't want to talk to each other, and you don't want to form a community in your neighborhood and all that stuff. And it's really night and day from the way things used to be, at least how it was described to me. My mom, she told me how back in the day, like, everybody knew everybody in the neighborhood. Now, like, who can say they know their neighbor's name? Who can say they can knock on their neighbor's door and, like, have a chat, or can you spare a cup of sugar? Like, would you like to come over for dinner? That's just not even in the culture anymore. And there's this suspiciousness, this suspicion, unspoken suspicion amongst, these smaller communities that we have to dissolve, because otherwise, like, all we have is each other. And if we can't trust each other or rely on each other, things are not going to last. And that's why we have to question everything. Question how we feel about our neighbors, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the world, what we think about the world, what we think about ourselves, what we think about what the future can look like. There's so many shows out there that just portray such a pessimistic, bleak, dystopian future for the world, and I know it's not by accident. Like, oh yeah, it's under the guise of it's entertainment. Oh, look at the CGI. Oh, the plot is so amazing. But then, that stuff gets stuck in the brain, and it gets stuck for a while, and then people truly start to believe it. Well, whether they realize it or not, they start to give up, or they start, they stop believing they can fight or advocate even for a better world, or that it's simply, it's stupid. Oh, you're so naive, and you'll get it when you're older, that kind of mindset. or that's just the way the world is. And it doesn't have to be. I see better for all of us one day. I don't know how soon that day will come, but in the meantime, I really think we need to hold to each other, seek out community in the ways that we can. As awful as social media can be sometimes with all the negativity it spreads, it can also be a means for positivity, you know, and getting people together and letting people know that they're not alone. And that's why I post these videos, you know, whoever sees them or not, all one of you who sees this video, hopefully, you know that you're not alone, that you're not the only one thinking these things, that you're not crazy, that, you know, yeah, this world wasn't built for most of us. So we have to, in one way or another, speak out, use our talents, what we're good at, to help build something that is for us, that is for everyone. Now, I don't have the answers as to the logistics of that completely. I know there are levels to this, you know, politically, environmentally, economically, like locally, community-wise, like safety, you know, stuff like that. I don't have all the answers, nor will I ever suggest to have all the answers. But to just sit around and not do anything, to sit around voiceless and, you know, not even humoring the idea that something better than this could exist on this planet. We know that's why we hurt, because we know that something better is possible. We know that there's something that's being held back, something that's being like suppressed, a new we could be so much further along if we would stop like capitulating. And easier said than done, I know, because so many of us are in survival mode. Like, you know, you gotta eat, you gotta drink water, you need a roof over your head, you need clothes. So of course I'm not like suggesting that everyone get out there and work the field and you know, walk the picket line, and you know, that's not even realistic. But something as simple as this, uploading a video and sharing your voice, it matters. I truly believe that something better can come, something better will come, and we are perhaps the first wave of that. And whatever we could do, whatever we can contribute, it matters. I understand that life is lifing for all of us. And I am not standing up on my podium and telling you gotta do something. No, like the little that you can do, even if it's coming up here and uploading a video, or writing about it, or singing about it, dancing about it, talking about it, you know, letting others know that they're not alone, letting others, inspiring others to question, to think, to step outside of this bubble of, oh, I'm a consumer, oh, I'm dead. Like, it's just not working anymore. It's old, it's played out, and we see that doesn't fill the hole in our hearts, and it never will, you know. And just pardon me, sue me for believing, for wanting, you know, us to wake up, to one day hold hands and truly see each other as equals and live life as equals without all of this disparity, this despair and suffering in the world. Sue me, but I'm never going to stop believing and holding it in my heart that such a world can exist. But the first step is always to question. If we stop questioning, nothing changes. If we stop asking, nothing changes. If we stop thinking, nothing will change, and we'll continue to be sedated through food, through entertainment, demoralized through entertainment, demoralized through a failing economy that has been failing us for God knows how long. Anyway, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I truly just wanted to have a discussion. So to all one of you who see this, I would very much like to start a conversation if you're willing in the comment section. But yeah, this is my little real life red room. I hope I wasn't too meandering with my points, but yeah, there's just so much going on in the world that we can't hold it all in our heads, and we can't hold it all to ourselves. And that's why I'm here. I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful for any platform that allows the little guy to speak, you know, and we'll continue to speak as long as we're able. It matters. We matter. And I'm just going to leave it there because it's probably the best point that I could leave it on. But yeah, if you have anything you want to add in the comments, hey, let's have a discussion. If not, if you're just passing through, well, thank you for listening this far if you have. If this wasn't your cup of tea, I understand. Thank you for glancing in my direction anyway. And I do wish to see you again very soon. I won't wait too long for the next video. But yeah, thank you.